Alright guys, welcome. This is something we haven't done in quite some time. I'm currently live on Twitch and I'm joined by the man of the hour, VideoGamezYo. He's agreed to come on and have a chat and do somewhat of an interview about his time at Celtic Throwdown and generally answer some questions. How's it going, dude?
It's going very well, mate. How are you doing?
I'm not bad at all. I'm happy and appreciate you coming over here and doing this with us. Right now, Twitch has a black screen, but I'm going to be sorting that out very soon. Don't you worry. A quick disclaimer. VideoGamezYo is currently outside in a very windy day in the UK, so I apologize in advance if you hear any noise, but it is what it is. Fujin's not in the game, but we can wish. All right, cool. So if I... Right, brilliant. This is super professional. This is super professional. Here we go.
I know, right?
Right.
Too good.
I have the top 8 at Celtic Throwdown. Is just gonna be playing in the background while we chat. It seemed appropriate as you're about to play Hayate on stream. But first things first, thank you for coming on. You are, of course, known mainly as the Shao Kahn, really, of the world. So I feel like the question on everyone's minds is going to be, why Shao Kahn? Like, what about this character is it that drew you to him?
Very good question. Right. So at the start of the game, my first sort of like character that I was thinking of maining was Kano, and then I realized, oh, he's not really that good. So then I had a bit of a character crisis at the start, and then I thought, oh, Shao Kahn, he's really cool, and I've never been able to play him before, other than Armageddon, but that doesn't really count. So I'm like, oh, I really want to play this character. I like his design so much. Same with Jax. I really liked his design. So I labbed him, and then I went online, and I was like losing a lot, and I was like, is this me being bad, or is this the character? So then I was contemplating dropping him for quite a long time, and I'm like, see, I never see Shao Kahn's online, so I'm gonna stick with him. I'm gonna try my hardest to make it work, even if I have to lab and lab and lab and lab. So that's what I did. I labbed and labbed and labbed, and found things, stand one, down four, all that sort of thing. The spacing required on certain buttons, and I got used to him, and then I played him loads, and then now I'm here. So.
Well,
Yeah,
I think I speak on behalf of probably most of the community when thanks for not dropping him, especially over Kano.
Kane, bloody hell, Kano. Imagine if
don't worry, you haven't got to imagine. I lived it. But so obviously you're quite experienced in fighting games overall. Do you mind explaining a little bit about your history with fighting games, be it casual or competitive? Like, are you a new player to tournaments? Have you been playing them for a while?
Okay, so where to start? All right, so my tournament experience is pretty limited, to be honest. Before I went to Critical Combat, which is like my first serious tournament, I went to Lion's Den, which was in London. It was near Marble Arch. It was a Tekken tournament I entered. I really only entered to play Tekken 7 early, but I entered Tekken Tag 2. I think I went 2-2, so it was all right. But, for the most part, my tournament experience is very limited. But when MK11 came, I really want to get good at this game because it looks amazing. All the pre-release stuff, the London event, it looked really good. And obviously I'm a massive MK fan, so I was like, time to grind, because I've always kind of, watched tournaments and been like, I want to be there one day, even if I don't win, I just want to be there one day, said I had to go meet all these amazing people and, that sort of thing.
I think you'd be very surprised how common that that general view on events is as well. Like the amount of people that I've met through the years that have that almost exact same kind of introduction to tournaments, when it's like, I played fighting games casually, I enjoyed them, I started watching tournaments, it looked like a lot of fun, and I wanted to be involved. Like it really is. I think it's almost like a question as to how good the grassroots aspect of fighting games are, when it is possible to just do that. You haven't got to qualify, you haven't got to spend all this time like entering online events just to make finals one time a year, whatever. Like, if you want to go to a tournament, just turn up. And there you are.
Exactly. It's amazing. Locals are actually amazing. I'm so grateful that locals are a thing, because Ketchup contacted me first. He's like, oh, you're really good. You should go to tournaments. I'm really nervous, lots of people are going to be watching. And then he's like, oh, that's what locals are for. There's Critical Combat coming up soon. You should go to that. I'm like, oh. Because, there's not that many people at a local. It's a good chance to test your skills. And there's, there's a warm community behind the local. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. Ended up coming second, getting bopped by Foxy. No surprises there.
Yeah, we've all been there. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, it was just, I'm so grateful that locals are a thing, and people need to use locals as, you know, a stepping stone for regionals. Because I went to Critical Combat.
As an organizer of a local, I feel that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're so amazing. And then I went straight from Critical Combat to Versus Fighting, and I got top 8. So I think if I didn't go to Critical Combat, I just went straight into VSF, I don't think I would have done as well. You know, dealing with tournament nerves, preparing for my matches, that sort of thing. You know, casuals before the tournament should really help. You know, it's that sort of thing that I think is a great stepping stone for going to a region. Really, really important, I think.
No, absolutely. I feel like you really are almost like I guess the term for it is a Cinderella story, right? Like, you know, started out just super casually. Of course, you've only just begun as well. Like, you know, we're talking like it's been this year of like a journey. It's been like what, a couple of months?
Yeah, a couple of months. Yeah.
That's scary. You know, after seeing how fast and quickly because I actually, and that's something I wanted to ask you about personally as well, is your level of composure in tournaments is something that I find super interesting, in the sense that if you don't mind me asking, like, feel free to say no if possible, but you're not an old player, are you?
What do you mean in terms of age?
You're quite a young guy.
Yes, I'm 19.
So at 19, you are already within a couple of months of tournament experience, and like, what, this is your 3rd tournament, I think, in total. So like 3 events separately are already as pretty much a tournament newcomer still, right? Like three tournaments is nothing compared to the amount of tournaments you may end up entering over the years this game will be around.
Yeah.
Are already beating players that have been around for a long time. Like, you know, you even at Celtic Throwdown alone, you took out White Black, who was like a legendary European Marvel vs. Capcom, Dragon Ball player, Biohazard, who is like absolutely one of the biggest fan favorites for years through multiple NetherRealm games. Foxy, you defeated in tournament, who has beaten you in tournament. You know, Foxy, known for the adaptation and his ability to, you know, kind of get the download on players, as it were. You were able to not let him do that to you 3 times in a row, right?
Yeah.
And of course Hayate, well, you know, right, you can't see it, but on the stream is currently your match against Hayate, where somehow, like, at your young age, you've just figured out how to compose yourself, how to get ready, and how to make sure you are still playing at your best, no matter the scale, no matter the audience. How do you do that? You know, like, what was it about you that kind of clicked, that you were able to just play at this level no matter what?
I think one thing that I like before a big match. So, for example, when I found out that I got Hayate, the day that I got into top 8, I was really, really nervous. And when I got to the event, I was sweating. I was really, really nervous. But the thing is, before the match, I'm nervous. I start thinking about stuff. You know, I overthink. I'm like, oh, what if he does this? What if he picks this character? What if this happens? This. So I overthink. But when I'm going up to play, I'm just like, okay, forget all of that. None of that matters. All that matters now is the match, and whether I can win the match, and how I can improve my gameplay as the set goes on, because it's first to 3 now, right? So the first to 2, so it actually gives you time to adapt, which was shown in the Foxy match. So I think when I sit down, I'm in game mode. Nothing can distract me. I don't look around. I'm very focused, and I'm just thinking about what I can do to win the game. Because I think a lot of, you know, newer tournament players make the mistake. You know, they overthink while they're in the chair, and that makes them make, you know, silly decisions. I don't think I made that many mistakes at Celtic, if I'm honest. Like, apart from, you know, the Dragon games, where, you know, the matchup was obviously a factor, but I could have played a bit better. But apart from that, you know,
the fact that nothing really jumps out at you, I think, kind of really confirms that.
Yeah.
And even then, like, it's again, it's a testament to the composure is the character choice. You know, even though you are definitely known for Shao Kahn, you know, being this super solid player with such an underseen or used character, to also bring Jax to the table as well, right? You know, I feel like we can talk till the cows come home about the Shao Kahn, but the Jax is equally as good as the Shao Kahn, and clearly has a place in your roster. Like, what was it about the Jax pick that you felt kind of complemented the Shao decision?
I think the main reason I picked Jax over Shao is A, I'm just as confident with Jax as Shao. B, Jax is more explosive than Shao, so I feel like in matchups like, for example, Aaron Black, when I was against Derpy and Hayate, once I'm in with Jack, it's much harder to get me out in comparison to Shao Kahn. And obviously, I've got a 9-frame mid, which is extremely abusable against people that, like to disrespect or like to wake up buttons. I think the Jax is a very good secondary for Shao Kahn players because he's so explosive in comparison to the more patient play style that you have to adopt with Shao Kahn, because he literally cannot jail anything off a down 1 or a down 3. He just can't. So you have to wait for openings,
The level of patience required with Shao Kahn really is something that I feel like is often undersold.
I know.
I've been dabbling with him a little bit over the last couple of days, kind of since Celtic Throwdown. I've had the local in Leicester. I streamed it a bit today, and you do kind of immediately feel that he's just a bit more difficult to play than a lot of characters, even though like you might not seem it at first due to like, launching shoulder charge, long range buttons, all that stuff, sure, but actually getting all of it to work against real people to the level where it works the way you've made it work is generally a lot more difficult than it might meet the eye. There is something I wanted to ask, and also I have asked chat as well, like if there's any kind of like decent questions they want to ask, I'm happy to kind of like relay those on. But there was something I wanted to ask, something that I get all the time in stream, and I'm sure you probably do as well whenever you stream, because you are a streamer as well yourself. I know you stream on YouTube, and you've been doing a lot of Twitch as of late as well. And I'll make sure to link all of your channels in the description and all that good stuff as usual. But you are a very big advocate for online play, right?
Yes.
Always in ranked matches. Even before there was Combat League, you're in ranked match all the time. Obviously now Combat League, you've made Elder God Shao Kahn both seasons back to back, right?
Yeah.
And presumably will for season 3 now. Hopefully when that
Let's
starts
hope
to
so.
work. Yep.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully the forfeit glitch goes away.
Yeah, I hope the same thing. Well, I mean, it's down as we speak, so maybe it will come back and it'll be gone. But do you kind of have any messages for online players that may have been in your shoes, where they play a lot of online and they're nervous about the transition and how to get offline and generally how to go about that change from being an online player to going to their first event, and mindsets to adopt and stuff like that?
Okay, so if you're in the position which I was, which I'll admit, I was really scared to go offline, because I thought, what if I pay all this money to go and then I don't win, or I don't get top 8, or, lots of the other different factors that were in my mind. And I was just thinking, nah, I've not got it. I've not got what it takes to be an offline player. Now, if you believe yourself that you're good enough to compete with the likes of, I won't say, Foxy, Hayate, all of those. Like, I'm talking local, because, you're not going to get all the big hitters at the locals. Just go for it. Like, for me, it took Ketchup to tell me, bro, you're too good not to be competing. And I'm like, if he's telling me that, he knows what he's talking about. This man competed in MK9. He's been in the scene for ages. I've been watching him, looking up to you two. So if he's telling me that, there's no way that I shouldn't listen, And I think it shouldn't always take someone to tell you that for you to go, right? And this is coming from someone that, has been in that position. So I think the main thing is just to believe in yourself, and more so than important to understand that going to tournaments isn't just about winning, and it's not just about, improving your game. It is about those things, but I think
it doesn't have to be the only factor, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the most important thing is just meeting the community, really. That's my favorite part about tournaments. Going to CT, it was amazing. I cannot explain how lucky I feel to be in the position I am, with all the people that, fans of mine, massive, amazing players, Foxy, everyone that was there. The fact that I got to meet them, and the fact that I could hang with those guys and, call myself, I'm on par with them somewhat. It was just amazing.
No. There's no reason to be humble. Like that is proven, and that actually leads me on to my kind of like next point, leading into the next question. The UK has been somewhat up and down in NetherRealm games over the years. And in MK9, the whole community was a lot younger, so it was kind of harder to really prove anything. But the UK, like we always felt like we had solid players, but it was harder to prove it. MKX, that was definitely proven due to obviously 2 UK and top 8 at Evo for the biggest year. That was at the time the biggest tournament the community had ever seen. Foxy's massive consistency, but as of course Ketchup and myself kind of took a step away from competing. Foxy was kind of like left with the reins solo for the UK for that game, because there were UK players, but the ability to kind of like regularly compete and travel. In Pro League, we had like Zarakamaka and Undead Jim were able to, you know, make the ESL finals and stuff. But in terms of like worldwide grassroots stuff, it wasn't as regular. Injustice 2 was kind of more of the same, where again Foxy was kind of like the real sole representative for the UK. Irish Madness, of course, started to really make a name for himself as well as a really strong player. But it's really nice to see that. I can say to you with absolute certainty that the entire UK scene has been very kind of like you know, again, not to sound cheesy, but very inspired, very very appreciative that it looks like the UK is looking strong in another game, right? You know, because of course now we have the rise of Dizzy TT is up there. Foxy is constantly traveling with him. Now you yourself are having these, you know, back-to-back good results at the tournaments you're attending to. And, you know, again, as still such a newer player to tournaments, it's very nice to see that the UK is looking like it's on a really good form. And of course, you know, Derpy taking it over Gur in Celtic Throwdown, and Mega K being able to defeat, you know, Foxy in tournament, Dizzy in tournament, Happy Pal. It's nice seeing that the UK is on top, and I'm really thrilled that there is a newer player that is rising to the ranks alongside them, right? But the only thing that seems to have, specifically with Celtic Throwdown, held you back is almost like consistent matchup problems with similar kind of characters. Would you say you've been working on, like, or planning to work on any other characters for those trouble matchups, like the Cetrions, like the Extreme Keepaway? Are there any characters in the pipeline for you that you're looking to maybe pick up?
Yeah, so after Celtic, as you say, I got a lot of messages about, you know, the fact that both the characters that I play, it's 7-3 against Cetrion, which is bad, you know. And I will admit that, you know, seeing Sonic Fox play Dragon's Cetrion with Jax and beating him, you know, it's doable, right? But the fact that Dragon is so solid defensively, and the fact that the matchup is 7-3 really outweighs the match in his favor. So I've been, as you say, there are some characters I've been loving, but I think the problem before going to CT was that I was really trying to make my Shao Kahn and Jax as solid as possible.
Sure.
You know, I didn't want to make any mistakes. I wanted to get my conversions on point. I wanted to get everything perfect before I went. And then when I got there, I did practice a bit of, I think I was practicing a bit of Liu Kang, because I heard he does well against Cetrion. But I wasn't confident in the pick, hence why I didn't go for it. And if only Nightwolf was legal, I would have picked him, because, you know, I'm considering picking him up as my one of my three characters, Shao Kahn, Jax, Nightwolf. They'll be my tournament characters for when Nightwolf becomes legal. And he does really well against Cetrion, at least I feel. So, yeah.
Now that is a very scary possibility. Concept of, you know, Nightwolf looks like he's going to be really strong, and generally speaking, when he eventually becomes legal, when the ban is over, like I expect we'll see really good things from him. I'm just gonna have a quick look through the chat and see if there's any other cool questions that maybe has been asked. Let me have a look through. Or looking for. Don't worry, I'll find it in a sec. There we go. What was one of the bigger challenges that you found with getting Shao Kahn tournament ready? Because it's not like you really had other players to study, or because he plays such a unique game that only he really does. Like, how was it with Shao Kahn to get him ready for tournaments, for high level competition?
I think online is a great part of it. Winning against real people really gave me a confidence boost at first, because as I said, I was going to drop him because he was just so hard. Like, at the start, I used all of his strings. And then later on, I realized,
damn, I'm using everything and nothing works.
Yeah, exactly. Just nothing works. It's all highs. And I was like, okay, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. So I think the biggest part for getting him tournament ready was to just strip away the rubbish. You know, I play a very basic game in terms of what buttons I use and when I use them. Down 4, standing 1. That is like 70% of my game and grab. And it's really simple, but extremely effective if you know how to implement them. Because at the end of the day, who else can say they've got a +4 standing 1? It's ridiculous.
I love that like even that single point by itself. It's like you'll look at a character that's considered really bad, or like lower tier on the end of things. You look at one thing that they have that pretty much no one else in the game has, and build a game around it.
exactly.
I really respect that approach.
It's just, it's too good to not, you know, because at the start I never did that. I didn't even know standing one was +4. I just thought, oh, it's a jab. But I realized it was a hella good anti-air, so I was using it for that. But I wasn't using it for, you know, enforcing respect. And I think that's the hardest thing to do with Shao Kahn, enforce respect. It's so difficult to make people respect you in neutral because they know, nothing jails. So they're just going to be, you know, be pressing buttons, mashing down too, if they, you know, if they so wish, especially Jade. She's a very good example of that. But enforcing respect and, you know, basing your game around very few moves. Like, as you would have seen at CT, there were strings I just did not use at all. There were moves I just did not use at all because you have to strip away all the bad stuff. Just keep what he's good at, you know, anti-airing, space control. You know, he's got a sweep, amazing downfall, amazing long reaching forward too, that sort of thing. So I think the main thing is to just, you know, keep your game very basic. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's just what I get a lot actually. Newer Shao Kahn players that, you know, come to my channel and ask, they're like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? You know, optimal conversion, this. And I just say to them, work on neutral, work on stripping it back to the bare minimum, and you'll be good.
I feel like that's always a bit of a red flag is when someone that admits to still being learning using the word optimal. It's like, you don't need that yet. You know, like you don't have to worry about that yet because you're not at a point that is useful information to you.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Well, it sounds like things are getting pretty busy. I feel like that's fundamentally all the questions that I would have had in mind myself. But you know, first things first. Before we go, I again just want to say huge thanks for coming on, having a chat. I know the lovely folks at home can catch you on Twitch as well. Is it twitch.tv? Is it just VideoGamezYo, the same as your name?
VideoGamezYo is my Twitch. I don't know why it's not.
Your voice cut out for like the smallest amount of time as you said that.
Hold on, yeah, a motorbike went past. Perfect timing. VideoGamezYo 22 is my Twitch.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you very much for making the UK proud and doing such a good job. I have no doubt we'll see you soon. But that leads me on to the final point. Are there any events coming up that we can find you at?
Yes, UFA in France. I will be there. And of course, I'll try to make every local in the UK that I possibly can, you know. Rep the local scene, rep the UK boys. That's what I'm here for. Right, I need to buy me a UK flag as well, like Foxy's got.
So you can just like have one super flag and just stitch them together if everyone makes it.
Yeah, UK cape. Need one of those.
All right, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I shall let you get back to things. And for the sake of YouTube, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And again, if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to let us know and we'll see what we can do. Thanks again for coming on, man, and good luck at UFA. I'm sure we'll see you do well.
My pleasure, bro. It was an honor. My pleasure.